Good evening, everyone. Hello. So, it's pretty late in London, or shall I say, really early in the morning. It's past midnight. It's about 12:30 in the UK, London, and I just fancy a spot of stitching here today. Um, so here I am. So the piece I'm stitching today is from Heaven and Earth, and it's called it's Love Letter Chocolate Shop and a mini version. It's a lovely, lovely piece. And you can see these beautiful colors. This is totally my kind of design. So I haven't stitched it for maybe for a few weeks. So I'm really looking forward to stitching it today. So it's 25 counts. The floss is actually CXC instead of DMC. So I love stitching with CXC as well. And I'm going to do 10 stitches, 2/1. So it's kind of a little bit faster, which is kind of nice when you're in a right mood. And so let me just bring up this beautiful design to show you. There you go. How sweet is that? So I'm starting from upper left, where you see the red door is. I'm working diagonally from top to bottom. And so that's normally how I do it. I have a couple projects. I start from the middle, but most of my projects, I go from upper left and go down diagonally. So this is so sweet. I just love, 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 love this piece. And so here, let me just remove that a little bit. So I'm doing one block at a time. Let me just zoom in a little bit. So I'm doing square by square, and I'm going one row at a time. So you'll see how it works. I quite like this way of stitching, particularly when it comes to 10 stitches, and it's relatively fast. It's involves a little bit of thread and color changes, but it's actually relatively efficient. So let me just set my camera zoomed in enough here. And I forgot to show you. So I'm using Pattern Keeper to track my progress. And I just want to quickly show you where I am today at the moment. So I'm starting from 0 stitches today. And so far I've completed close to 9% actually, 8.8%. So not too bad considering I only started this piece, I say 3 months ago, something like that, when I started my sort of new experiment with half stitches. Most of my projects are full cross, 1/1, but I really wanted to try half stitches. So this was probably the first half stitch project that I started, and later on I added a few more as usual. So there we go. I'm so looking forward to it. It's quite late over here in London, but let me just reduce that a tiny bit. You can still see it. And I hope you're doing well. This is Bank Holiday Monday for the UK, which just means, it's a day off. national day off. And I believe it's probably a day off for people in America as well. I can't remember what day that's supposed to be, but I've heard it's a holiday as well. So here's my big book of, it's really big. Let me just zoom out a little bit. So I normally like to place my thread organizer on top of my fabric as I pick the thread. But this one is so thick because it's got pretty much all the DMC colors. Not all, but most of them. So I have to put the book, the thread, the organizer aside as I'm stitching. So, which means I have to turn around, turn to the side to do it. But never mind, it's fine. It's a big organizer there. So I'm going to start from here. So roughly diagonally, but I just picked the spot I like. So that's kind of my style here. So I'm going to start from this lovely thread here. So I hope you're well. I just came back from a yoga class. I teach yoga most days. And 1, 2, 3, 4 here. And I just had a lovely class of in yoga. So Monday evening, I teach in yoga. Let me see, make sure that auto focus is not going wild. There you go. And it's a really relaxing class. I think everybody enjoyed it. But for some reason, after I came home, I'm wide awake. Sometimes I come back, I just want to, lie down, have a nice nap or sleep. But for some reason, I came back today and I'm wide awake. So I thought, whoa, what is better than a nice little spot of stitching to relax. And so that's what I'm doing. I hope you enjoy your long weekend if you're live in a country that has a long weekend. Over here it's called bank holiday. I'm sure there's some sort of history to the name, but it means everything is off. Well, other than supermarket, I guess. They close a little bit early, but open most days. And let me see. So I haven't stitched this piece for a little while. I don't know, I've got so many things going. Sometimes you just forget some pieces are even there. And then you have to look at them. You go, oh my God, how could I possibly neglect this piece? And this is one of them. This color scheme, this palette is totally me. The vibrant color, the pink, the green. Oh, amazing. I fell in love with this design as soon as I saw the pattern. I just had to have it. But I think I got this pattern in a sort of earlier days when I first discovered Heaven and Earth design. I fell in head over heel in love with this kind of stitching. But at that time, I wasn't courageous enough. And I said, I'm talking about it as if it was really long time ago, but not really. It was during COVID period, lockdown. I think it's 2002, something like that. That's when I opened this rabbit hole, dived in, and haven't been able to come out of it. But in the beginning, it just seemed so daunting. I didn't want to get the full size. I think this one has the regular and a max as well. But even mini is big enough for me. It's huge. Let me just cut this bit off. So the first few pieces I bought from Heaven and Earth, they were, let me just organize my things. They were mini ones. So I've got a few mini pieces that I'm only doing now. Because later on, sort of a little bit into it, maybe about 6 months or so after I just started this venture, I started to buy max color. I haven't gone as far as doing super size. I think, max color, regular size is kind of good enough for me. So most of my pieces later on, they're either regular or max color, but not super size. So that's kind of where I draw the line. I'm trying to figure out where this one is coming from. I see. I've got this habit of forgetting to mark my part stitches. So I kind of get confused. Let me just part this away from me so I know which bit I'm doing. I see. Okay. So I'm going to pick this one up. And the needle size I'm using is 26. I think a lot of people like to know what needle size they go for. I mean, I suppose, the higher count it is, you tend to use smaller needles, but I'm using 26 and I'm using 28 for, oh, I see. I know what's going on now. I'm using 28 for 25 counts. And this is 25 counts, but because it's 2 over 1 half stitches, so I'm using larger needles to accommodate the 2 strands. So that's what's happening. Otherwise, 25 counts, I use 28 counts needle. So for today's class, let me just pick my thread. 936 from a big book. I've got one threaded already, so that's super quick. So for my class today, once a month I will use straps, yoga strap. I don't know whether you've been in yoga or yoga class in general. So once a month I would do what I called strap party. So basically using yoga strap to help with all poses, and it's good fun. A lot of times you don't get to use the strap for the entire class, and it's a nice change from regular classes. Use props and stuff like that, but let me see, where is it? I'm just talking at the same time, kind of throws me a little bit still. That's over here, and this one is over here. Just make sure that I haven't left it dangling, which has happened before. You know, I would, oh, I know where it is. So this is technically my bedtime already. So I feel like I'm talking in my sleep. 434. 434. Normally, if I have, you know, when it comes to bedtime, I'm still not tired. I try not to force myself to lie in bed and try to force myself to sleep. First of all, it doesn't work. And also, it's no fun because there are occasions that I literally just lie there for like an hour and I still couldn't get to sleep. So I made it a thing that if I don't feel sleepy, I don't go to bed. And it kind of takes the pressure out of, you know, having to try to sleep. That's the worst thing because I can probably force myself to stay awake. It's easier, but you can't force yourself to sleep. It doesn't work like that. And you feel like you're wasting a lot of time just lying there, tossing and turning. So I always try to just stay awake and do something. And, you know, eventually you feel sleepy at some point. And you're productive as well. You're not just lying there feeling frustrated. So and you get to do stitching, which is quite lovely. Really can't complain. There's lovely bits, lovely color here. I don't think this is the right color. I think this one is 3. I'm trying to think. No, this is not the correct color. I'm looking at this one over here. So, and a lot of 25 count fabrics for my projects, I have the gridded pre-printed version. But this one, I don't. So I tend to draw just with a pencil. I know it's not ideal, but it's completely covered anyway, so it doesn't matter. Because most of the times with larger, like 14 count fabric, I'll use sort of fabric pen to do it. I'm just trying to make sure that I'm on the right spot here. Why does it look like this? Yes, I have. I forgot to mark it, that's why. And this one over here. Now, I figured this out. Okay. I'm warming up. 891. 891. Oh, this is hot pink. It's lovely. 891. Beautiful pink. I love pink. But I find the texture of the fabric is different. It's a bit more stiff when with the gridded version. I'm trying to put this in there. Because I think it's more, I don't know, just it's printed first of all, and it's probably more starched, I think. You know what? Okay, I was about to break rules, but I decided not to. Because I was going to cross over to the block next to this one. Actually, I'm going to do that. It will probably be better sometimes to do that, to cross over to the next block. You kind of soften the line. Not that I can see any line here. Divider, if you do it block by block, some people worry that you get kind of definition there, but so people deliberately sometimes cross over with certain colors. But with this one, to be honest, I can't see it, but I'm just cheating because it's there. So I'm gonna stitch over to the next block, the same colors. It's so fast. I feel like I'm cheating. Well, this is one of the reasons it kind of stopped me from doing half stitches, because I thought, well, you're only doing half of the stitches, and as it says on the tin, it is half stitch, but the coverage is pretty good, particularly with this floss and CXC floss. It's quite full body. It's a bit more fluffy, so I think it's perfect for half stitch, 10 stitch projects. It's so fast. Getting a little bit giddy. And I'm being really ribbit. Oh dear, I think I stitched over the wrong place there. I hope you can see it well. Let me just move it over to the left. Just use up the space there. Let me just park it there because I'm breaking many rules right now. And then I'm going to undo these ones, the end threads, so they don't get in the way. Can't remember what I was saying now. But yeah, I've come down straight down because the same color, so I'm not doing row by row. It seems pointless. Here we go. Yeah, so I was talking about the coverage of the floss there. It's really perfect for 10 stitches because I find DMC, it's beautiful, beautiful floss, beautiful threads, but they're kind of spun a little bit tighter together. So sometimes when you do half stitches with them, it feels like you can almost see through the fabric there. So even with 4 stitches, you can see through to the fabric sometimes. Not when you zoom out. You have to look very closely, but you know it's there because you know we look at every single stitch. But for these ones, to be honest, even from here, at least for my eyes. If you didn't tell me, I wouldn't know these are 10 stitches. Not really. So that's quite nice. So in principle, I'm doing row by row, so I don't end up with kind of stitches I have to go in and fill in, even within the same block, and having to take my thread over stitch area. So with this method, I'm kind of, allowing all areas to be stitched in. So if I take the part the thread underneath, I don't have to worry about it because I just stitch over it, which is my favorite method. But from time to time, I'll go vertically if the stitch above me is already stitched. Then I allow myself to stitch the stitch underneath, if that makes sense. Okay, this is very short. I need to park it in the thread. So I just bring it down here, about 10 stitches away at least, maybe 12. Just a block underneath. Actually, I'm going to, somewhere there. And then just anchor it down. So I learned all this particularly with half stitches from a lady, I believe it's called Stitch Ninja. I don't know whether she's still making content because the videos I've seen from her, they're from a while ago, maybe a year or two ago. But she's got this really lovely way of stitching, and she did a lot of half stitches. So I learned a technique from her, but obviously I improvise a little bit to break the rules a little bit to suit myself. But I just find this way of stitching is very relaxing. It's probably a little bit more predictable than the last session I did with Gemma's style, Gemma Stitches style. It requires a little bit more sort of judgment calls, if that makes sense. You have to kind of constantly look at where you're going to take your thread next, which is quite fun if you're in the mood. And sometimes I'm in the mood for that kind of challenge. But tonight I just want an easy, predictable session. Just relaxing. I don't have to overthink anything because I know you just go from top to bottom, which is quite nice. And 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Trying to see. Three. Yeah, it's here. I feel like I need a hairbrush or something to manage all the part threads. Here we go. And 936, 936. I think I already have one part there. And I was about to mention, and I forgot, even though I'm wide awake, and trying to stitch to help me to relax. But I'm not helping the situation by drinking coffee. So I came back. I thought, oh, well, I'm still awake, but I crave for a cup of coffee. So I never drink decaf. I just don't like the idea of decaf. So I made a cup of coffee. Yep. So I don't think it's helping the situation, but but there you go. I don't have early classes tomorrow, so I'm good. I can have a lie-in if I wanted to. That's a great thing about having flexible timetable. 730. 730. Here we go. Already threaded. And also, I would love your opinion on starting and ending method in terms of starting thread and ending thread method for half stitches, because I find it a little bit more challenging. 1, 2, 3 here. Because half stitches, you have less area, because normally I'll do a tuck in. I'll just put the thread underneath the stitch area, and it normally works quite well with full cross. But I find with half stitches, it's harder to hide the thread. So at the moment, I'm doing my best. If I start a new thread, I use loop method, loop start, my favorite. But but with leftover pieces, which would be most, thread pieces, I'm kind of just, I do a pin stitch sometimes. I'm not consistent. I do pin stitches sometimes, and sometimes if there are more than one stitch on the same row, I would just try to stitch over multiple ones, multiple thread, multiple stitches, and hopefully the thread will get tucked in, if that makes any sense at all. Okay, I think where am I here? Good. This is 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Good. I'm going to make the lines a little bit clearer, because it's faded a bit because I haven't done this piece for so long, for a couple of months almost. So the lines get a bit fadey. Let me just quickly draw the lines here. Here we go. Two over there. There's something really therapeutic about teasing the thread out of the whole bunch. go. So I'm gonna take it down, a couple of stitches. So I'm breaking the rules. I think that's okay. Here we go. Oh. Bit up a little bit. So you can tell just by the part threads here, it's very, very fluffy. Very, very fluffy. It's really nice thread to work with. And this one, I'm going to take it down here. This is so relaxing. You know, I change different methods, stitching methods for different piece, and each time I pick up a piece and pick a method, I always think this method I'm stitching is the best. Constantly. Probably because I just pick the project and the method that suits me at that time. So I'm always loving the method I'm stitching and the piece I'm stitching. It's always my favorite. So it's a revolving door with favorite pieces. And if I discover a new way of stitching that I really like, my instinct, you know, I have the overwhelming desire to switch all my projects to that method. So eventually I get kind of sick of it. Oh, there you go. I binge stitch. That's what I am. "666. Oh, I know that color. It's very, very bright and red. There you go. 666. Supposed to be something come out of the horror film, isn't it? Isn't that a thing? Like, it's a Highway 666 or something. I probably can't remember. I haven't seen a proper film for a long time. Kind of just, I used to watch a lot of films. A lot of films. But somehow, I don't know, kind of just lost. The magic is slightly lost on me for some reason. I'm trying to recall the last film I saw. It was definitely not in at a cinema. I can't remember the last time I went to the cinema. Oh, I actually do. I think I went to my local cinema. And by the way, cinema, that's a UK term of theatre, movie theatre, basically. I saw a film with Scarlett Johansson in there. I can't remember the name of the film. It was kind of a sci-fi film, I remember. And I went there with this bloke. I went out. I was dating at that time. And he was a playwright for theatre and stuff. With some success. And I was really into theatre at the time. That's how I met him. And I remember we went to see this film at my local cinema. And to be honest, that's my last memory of ever walked in a movie theater. And the film was okay. It wasn't earth-shattering. I like Scarlett Johansson, but I think I prefer her in her sort of earlier days when she looked really unique, really interesting. You know, I think she was in Lost in Translation. And I remember thinking, oh, what a beautiful girl. But then she kind of became a little bit, she's still beautiful, but kind of like everyone else. For some reason, she just looks, I don't know, I can't tell her apart from other actresses. You know, that kind of look. Very beautiful, but I don't know. I think as an actor, you need to have character. Something stands out. Being good looking is just not enough, I think. And to be honest, I can't think of any film that she did after her sort of earlier work that's memorable. I think she became kind of a AAA actor and just did a lot of blockbuster type of films. And then nothing's really memorable, you know, just purely for entertainment. 730. 730. So, and it's really hard. I bet the competition is so great in the film industry, in Hollywood. You have to conform into a certain mold, I guess. You know, you have to stay beautiful to start with. And there are only so many character actors, particularly for actresses. You know, there's only so much space for that. Like Meryl Streep, you know, she's not classically beautiful, but she was just amazing in acting. Oh, I already have one here. I forgot. It's the same color. I do that sometimes. If I forget to mark the part thread. There you go. That's okay. 330. I just pull it back, part the needle for the next one. I think there's so much pressure for them to stay a certain way. And I think the pressure is greater if you noticed your career maybe starting to slide a little bit, and you're probably trying to do everything you can to stay in the game. And that's when you know, a lot of people lose their way, because acting is such a unpredictable profession. You almost cannot be a normal person to actually stay in that career, in that profession. I'm drawing some from personal experience again, my disastrous dating history. I've dated an actor, no one famous, but he was theatre, some minor movies, well, or big movies, but minor roles. So he was trying to break through the industry. But let me see, 3772. 3772, before I forget. And it was such a unique experience because he was a lovely guy, but man, actors are different kind of beasts. He was very good looking because I don't normally go for like, pretty men. I like, faces with character. A lot of times kind of odd looking blokes. I like those. But he was very good looking, and but he was so insecure, honestly. One of the most insecure people that I know. And I think a lot of actors are like that. They need that confirmation from, people around them. And because they're not sure. And actors, even the really famous ones, if you think about it, let me just make sure I park in the right location first before I lose my plot. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. There. If you think about it, actors ultimately, they're just very, a lot of them good looking. Beautiful people that take a lot of orders from directors. They need to be told what to do. That's what the whole acting profession is. They're not improvising. There might be improvisation. There's certain productions, but most production, particularly something like films, we're talking about, doing exactly what they're told to do. And they have to do it over and over and over again. So these are the people who ultimately are very good following orders, if you think about it. And that's slight contrast because we tend to think, particularly famous actors, they have a lot of ego, but ultimately they follow orders. So these are the people who maybe at times cannot think for themselves. Not in that way. Not when it comes to a lot of things. And I found with this bloke I was going out with, he was very confident on one hand, but very, very insecure. And I think for me, confidence is everything. Well, maybe not everything, but it's a very attractive trait of a person. You feel assured of a person being confident, and that leads to competence a lot of times, I guess. If you're confident, you know what you're doing. And it's quite reassuring to be with someone like that. You don't have to kind of try to prop their confidence up or ego up constantly. It's quite exhausting. And I think it's just getting a little bit like that with this gentleman. And I hate to say this, but maybe it's one way or the other, chicken and egg, I don't know. But they can be a little bit self-centered, I think. A lot of me and me again. Not in a selfish way. I don't think they're even doing, I can only draw from my own experience from a couple of actors that I went out with. But a lot of, how do I explain that? I think that's why so many actors, they go out with other actors. And as actors, male, female, doesn't matter, because only other actors understand how they operate. So ultimately, they end up with other actors. There's some actors, they date people who are non-actors, but maybe in the industry. It's very hard to date just someone normal, Well, not normal, but that's pushing a little bit far. Yeah, someone normal like me. Yeah, okay. But someone who's not in that industry is just like, you can be very understanding, and but yeah, they're different kind of beast, I think. That's just the way it is. So it didn't work out. I think I just got a little bit fatigue, and also I felt like I couldn't help him in any shape or form, because, you know, how do I make him feel secure and good all the time? I mean, what about me? I have my own problems. So that's one of the many disastrous dating stories of mine. But the playwright I was dating, that I went to cinema with, it was interesting. I think people who write, either novel, script, they're interesting people. And I'm drawn to interesting people more than anything. So even though this piece is mini, they still come out quite well, the definition and everything. I've seen other stitchers doing this one in, I think, regular and slightly higher count, but I don't think it looks that different, because a lot of times you worry the details will get lost with mini, but I think it's come out quite nice. And to be honest, 8%, even though this is a smaller piece, 8% in kind of a short time I worked on this piece is pretty good, thanks to the half stitches. Oh dear, okay, wrong. I really enjoy half stitches. I never thought I'd say that. When I was deep in 1/1, 25 counts, I was feeling that, if it's not a full cross, it's not cross stitch. That's what I thought. And lo and behold, I'm eating my own words. I love it. I'll bring it down here to tuck it. So what I've learned about myself is, if I say I'll never do something, I'll probably do it and express. So don't take it seriously, whatever I say. I finished that one. And occasionally you come across just like one stitch, like this one I'm about to do, 907. but it's not too bad. There isn't sort of crazy confetti with a mini. Occasionally there are areas with a little bit more color changes. And the thing is, I have a few pieces. There are some max color, regular size max color, and I've got a couple of pieces, they're regular colors. So regular size with just normal colors, about 90, 95, something like that, rather than 250, you know. And max color, obviously, if you do it, it means you want the challenge, you know. You know it's going to be tons and tons of confetti. But to be honest, having stitched both, I find, first of all, regular version, it tends to be a lot less confetti. But the colors, I actually find the regular colors look better in many ways. The colors just look a bit less busy, because I think they probably charge the patterns with a computer software, and they kind of cramp in the colors to create more definition, more details, but it doesn't always work that way. I find I've got a couple, I don't know how many regular pieces, at least 2 or 3 regular size that I've got. They come out beautifully, really beautiful. But max color is obviously a challenge. It just has to be done. The one stitch everywhere is kind of painful at times, but you know, 907, I'm gonna put it back. And I'm going to have a sip of my coffee. It's 1:30 over here in the morning, by the way, and I'm drinking coffee. Oh, no wonder I can't sleep. And just as a challenge, as we're talking about challenges, I'm thinking about doing kind of marathon live stream, if you like. Not marathon live stream as in, you know, a long live stream, but have a marathon streak, if that makes sense. Maybe do like 30 days every day. Something like that as a challenge to myself. See if I can crack it. I don't know what you think about that. And being such a small channel, I'm really just having fun doing it. I have no pressure. I don't have to earn views, and I'm always grateful if you're watching or if you enjoy it. That's lovely, because there's so many floss tubers out there. They gave me a lot of joy, you know, teach me how to stitch, and also keep me company, knowing that there's someone else doing something like this, which is pretty crazy. And but I'm under no pressure to be anything or do anything. This is all for fun. It's all for fun. So because why else would you do anything? Let me see where I am. I can't even see the lines there. Let's see, because the pencil line is really faint. I need to come up with a better solution. I know some people use kind of friction pen, kind of like a ballpoint pen, but I find it really hard to draw. I've got a couple of them, but and pencils a little bit easier. Okay, I think I know where I am. Right. So I'm thinking about the 30-day streak challenge. And this gets me to stitch more, maybe complete a little bit more. So instead of 20 years to finish a page, maybe I can reduce it to 19 years. Hey, that sounds like a good thing. One here. I've got so many projects ongoing, it's not even funny. But I always have probably about 5 or 6 that I'm cycling through at any given time, rather than cycling through the whole lot. I'm always drawn to a certain pieces at a time. And then I cycle through others, in no particular order. Lovely. Another one stitch wonder. 3031. Three one. It's a dark brown. Yes, I was talking earlier on about starting and finishing methods for half stitches. If you have good suggestions, please let me know. Because at the moment I felt that the method, so I'm about to do a pin stitch, but this is not elegant, so watch this. So what I do is I leave a little tail and then I stab the stitch in the middle. Because the stitch is so small, I kind of almost like I'm stitching it twice, I just take my thread over and do a half stitch over there and it covers the pin. So that's how I do it. I know you can't see the stitch underneath, but I'm not totally happy about that. I feel there might be better methods. It's just, I don't know, I haven't discovered it yet with the half stitches. One, two, three here. And also ending. At the moment I'm doing the anchoring, tucking it down, but to be honest I prefer not to see these bits. I don't mind it, but if you know of better methods, please share. I'll be very, very grateful. 730. I'm gonna snip this off. Hello, Kitty. That's my cat Dolly again. She likes to visit me, like demanding attention when I'm stitching. That's her thing. So this one is a little bit tight. Oh, hang on. I've got a loop here. I can do a loop stitch. Yes. Hello. Hello, babe. What can I do for you, babe? Hang on. Mommy's busy right now. Hey, what's going on there? Oh, she's a little bit wet. I think she just came in from the garden. She's a little bit wet, so she's complaining. I think it's raining outside. Is it raining, babe? Come on over here. Babe, let me wipe you dry. I'm gonna be... Oh, so she does this all the time. If it's raining outside, she'll come in and complain about it and go, dry me, please. And now she's happier. Are you happy now? You're a little bit dry now. It wasn't that wet anyway. So she's a bit dramatic. It's not like she's drenched. You're not drenched, are you, babe? You're okay. You're a big kitty. I think I've got a cup of her hair over here. Oh, cat hair management right here. So over here. Beautiful. And I'm gonna park it down. So I don't know whether you've been to London or the UK. The weather here is fickle. So we had pretty warm May so far. It's been very sunny many days. But the last couple of days have been a little bit less sunny, less warm. It's not cold, it's still relatively mild. But it does change very quickly. You know, overnight it could feel like you've changed seasons. That's typical. Typical for the UK weather. Almost finished one block here. And this one's getting quite short. So I'm going to end it. Tuck it underneath. Again, I'm learning this technique from Stitching Ninja. Lovely lady. I think she may be Italian. I don't know. I'm not sure. You never know. And got it here. Right. Okay, I'm going to end it. I think it's getting a little bit short. Another one. Beautiful piece. I'm so happy that I'm stitching it. 3A62. 3A62. My big booklet. 62. It's a lovely brown. Last stitch with this block. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Here, I think 1, 2, 3, oh, 4 from the left here. I think it's here. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, I missed one over there. Beautiful. Right. Where shall I go next? Shall I go right to stitch these beautiful pink and purple? Yeah. Oh, hang on. I think I missed a couple of stitches on the left there. Oh. There you go. So I'm going to just take it down here and park. Sometimes it's very tempting to just keep going down because it's the same color, but then, you know, where do you stop? We need some sort of rules to keep things in order. The last two here. And on the left. Next block. Start with the hot pink. 1, 2, 3. Let me see. 1, 2, 3. Hang on. There you go. So this color actually goes down a straight line. So instead of picking it up every row, I'm going to just stitch all the way down. Final 3. Okay. Bring it down here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 4 up. 1, 2, 3, 4. There you go. It's so peaceful. Over here a little bit. Seven, 1, 8. 7, 1, 8. Go. Okay, just thread it down here. One, two. over here. Very tempting to just stitch it, but you can hold it. Three 805. 3 8. Lovely, already threaded. These lovely pink colors. What's going on here? A bit tight. Pop it down here. It's such a relaxing way of stitching, this method. It's perfect for this moment. I just need a sip of water. One, two from here. 2. Oh dear. Okay. It's here. This one's tricky. I'm gonna stitch this one below. Pop it over here. It's 9, 3, 9. Ooh, it's a nice navy. So when I started stitching these type of projects, I had individual organizers, thread organizers for each project. And I used to draw symbols because I'm a really visual person, so working with symbols is kind of just natural for me. And then as the project number increases, it becomes a problem because you just end up with so many floss organizers everywhere, different sort of thread types and different number of colors everywhere. So it got pretty messy pretty quickly. So I decided to consolidate into just group all the colors as long as they're using the same type of thread. So I've got 3 groups, actually 4. I've got DMC projects, and that's most heaven and earth projects. I use DMC. So they all get grouped into one organizer, and I recognize them through numbers. So I had to basically abandon all the symbols and just stick with colors, and it made things easier. And then I have another book, the book I'm using right now, which is CXC floss. So with all the colors I need from this particular type of floss. And then I've got another book for the 14 count ones. So all the 14 count projects I've got, I think, they're all cross-stitching kit from this same company. I've got probably about 5 different kits from them. So their floss, they're all the same, very similar. I think they're DMC compatible, but the texture of the floss, a little bit threads are a little bit different. So I grouped them in a different book on their own. So all their floss coming from maybe about 5 different kits, they get grouped into one book, one organizer. So now I'm just dealing with pretty much these 3. Oh, there's one more. Only one project used that particular organizer. That's Gecko Rouge. So I've got a massive project. They do kits as well, but they're kind of quite high-end, a lot of large projects, and their floss, they're DMC compatible as well, the same color charts. But again, I think according to them, they're DMC floss, but from my experience stitching the kit, it feels a little bit different. Not better or worse, it just feels different. Maybe, I don't know, maybe they're made by different factories. It feels different. It's the regular DMC is very, very glossy. It feels very silky. The Gecko Rouge version, it's a little bit, I can't describe it, less glossy, but the colors are pretty still, so no issue there. So I have these 4 groups that I switch over, so things are a lot easier. 917, beautiful. So I love the process of the evolution of how I organize my fabric or my floss, and I have many versions of sort of homemade floss organizers, and try to customize them to make it work for me, because I use a couple of commercially done the thread organizers, but when you do something like, max color heaven and earth, when you have 200 and something colors for one project, you just can't use sort of regular shop bought organizers. They only accommodate up to, I don't know, is it 25, maybe 30 colors a piece. So you just end up with so many of them. It's just not workable. So I think most people who stitch this kind of projects eventually have to come up with a different solution. And that was part of the fun, because a lot of work was put into just organizing the floss. It's all part of what it is. And it's exciting every time you find a different way of doing it, more effective, cleaner, and more efficient. And it's fun. And a lot of times I find that when I get my floss in sort of organized, you just feel your life is in order, you know. And the stitching experience is better. So I'm quite happy with what I've got right now. Maybe there will be better solutions coming up. I hope so. I don't know. And I'll adapt, learn new methods. That's all part of the fun. Let's see. Yep. There. This over here. Let's have a look. Over there. Lovely. I don't know whether you have tried stitching on linen. I mean, obviously you can't stitch this type of project on linen, but I do have a couple patterns. They're kind of samplers, still quite big, but kind of more sampler type of projects. And I'm tempting to stitch them on linen if I can find fabric big enough. It'd be nice, nice variation to my stitching experience. Because it's a different kind of challenge, isn't it? So if you stitch sort of higher count, I think a lot of times you do 2/2 or 1/2, something like that, depending on how big the stitches are. You have to get used to recognizing two stitch area. I sort of, because now it's 1/1 is 2, 1/2. I'm getting confused, but you know what I mean. Use double the space. Let me see, where do I park it? I'm gonna end it and the thread. Just bring it down here, about 10 stitches away. Nine, 3, 8. Got one part already. I just want to show you my needle minder. Let me just move that away, screen away, and show you this one. This one, how cute is that? Can you see the kitty in the coffee cup? And this one looks a little bit like my dolly, because my dolly is black mostly, but with white paws, the tuxedo cats. And I love this little, it's so tiny as well, this needle minder. So needle minder is part of the stitching experience as well. So during Christmas time, I've got Christmas themed needle minder as well. I use them throughout the years, but but it's nice to be seasonal and festive with the needle minders as well. There's a nice purple here. It's just such a feast for the eyes with a project like this. One, two. Here you go. Oh, I'm going to stitch this one. It's a bit out of order, but here you go. It's quite intricate, this bit. Let me see. One stitch here. I'm going to end this thread. And while I remember, I'm going to remove these ones before they get in my way. 779. Let me have a sip of my coffee. Can't believe it. It's 2:13 in the morning in the UK. I'm drinking coffee. But it tastes so good. So good. I love coffee. Thank you, coffee. This one's getting very short. I'm going to take it over here. And I'm going to end it. So a lot of end threads. Oh, I think it's Dolly's hair. Let me stick it up. There you go. Hmm. And where am I? There you go. There's one more stitch here. And I'm going to take it all the way down. Oh, that's quite far. 1, 2, 3. 1. Okay. 1, 2, 3. It's quite far down. And the great thing about Pattern Keeper as well, it allows you to check the color as well, because sometimes the numbers could look kind of similar, but they're totally different colors. So I think with our Pattern Keeper, I probably make mistakes all the time. There you go. 550. 550. How adorable are these colors? It's a nice purple. Get this out of the way here. gonna get my pin stitch in there. On the mat. Let me just stitch cross and hope for the best. This one here. So when I saw there's another stitcher stitching this piece in, I believe it's regular. I don't think it's max or max color. The details around the door here, you can see the grid and everything. And this one, obviously, it's mini. It doesn't have as much details, but it's still really lovely because, you know, it's a bit more sketchy, kind of like sketch-like, and a little bit more sort of impressionist style. You know, sometimes art pieces are nice to be a little bit fuzzy. You know, when I'm stitching photographs. Okay, gonna keep this one. It's getting shorter, but not too bad. And this one I'm gonna stitch down. There's 3 stitches, and that's it. And I'm going to end it. I got 304. I'm just checking the color. I've got a suspicion it might not be the right color. 304. I was right. Where does that one come from then? 304. Let me just snip it off. I'm not sure what happened there. It's not hard to park in the wrong spot. Let's just put it that way. Let me just do this too. 3 underneath. Over here. It's such a sweet piece. just feel like whenever I'm stitching a certain piece, I'm in that world. You know, most of my pieces, you probably find a lot of them are kind of a physical space. I'm just drawn to that, like a room, or in this case, a shop, a lovely shop front. I'm just drawn to spaces, cozy spaces. Can't resist it. Right, I'm going to end this one. A lot of end threads here. I'm going to take it down a little bit further. Just make sure it's tucked in, stitched down. It's like when you were a kid, or when I was a kid, I can only speak for myself. You always dream about certain type of space you live in, you know, as a child. And within that space, there will be certain objects that you love. And in some way, with these projects, I'm kind of try to create that in a sense. You know, I love the space I'm living in. But with projects like this, you get to switch in different places. You're stitching your dreams, really. Just full of objects and things that you love looking at. So, so when I see other stitchers, maybe they stitch certain things, I'm mesmerized, because those are probably the subject matters or designs I'll never be interested in stitching. And it makes it interesting just to look at someone else's choices. And I think it's a reflection of a person. You know, you get to know what makes them excited. I think I most likely have part in a wrong place with this thread underneath. So I'm going to check what this one is. I think I know. Oh, what is this one then? Oh, I see. Okay, I think I know. Got this brown part in the wrong spot. And it's causing a little bit of confusion. It should be over here. Fine. Two over there. Seven, 1, 8. It's pink over there. It's part in the wrong spot as well. One spot down. Should go up. There you go. I mean, this session definitely does the trick in terms of relaxing my mind and my body. I can feel maybe 3831, sorry, 3831 before I forget. 3831. You know, now going to bed doesn't sound that far-fetched. Let's just put it that way. It's 2:30 in the morning here. And that's what I wanted. Just want my body to kind of relax and start to maybe feel a little bit sleepy. That's nice. The worst thing is when you have to force yourself to sleep because you have to get up a certain time in the morning. And I got to be quite good at that. You know, it's not uncommon for me to sleep for a couple of hours overnight and then go out and do whatever I have to do, as in teach yoga, whatever I have to do. And I can function okay. I'm good with that. Probably out of necessity, I have to train myself to be able to do that. But nothing beats a good sleep. Not just long sleep, but actually proper sleep that you feel restful in the morning. And I think I get better sleep, even if it's shorter sleep, I get much better sleep if I don't force myself to do it. It's a tough one, isn't it? It's a tough one. So I think I'm going to complete this square before I wrap it up. Today's session, I think, is doable. It's here. And it's nice to stitch block by block because you can track your progress more. You know you've completed one block and that's 100 stitches instant. So if you stitch cross country, for instance, it's less obvious. Obviously you can track it with your app, or if you stitch diagonally like my other piece, Granny's craft room, it's less obvious. So a block is a block. There's a clear definition there. Okay, I'm gonna go out of order just to fill in this box. Oh, I'm enjoying so much. Why is it so enjoyable? So therapeutic. 917. 917. It's a new thread, so I can do my favorite loop start. Loop start here. So I've got a YouTube short where I show how to do loop starts with one hand. And I can do it, but a lot of times I just find that I end up doing it with both hands. It's just out of habit. Here we go. Here you go. Just one stitch here. And then 1, 2, 1 below. I tend to part down, so maybe I should end my thread to the right. I don't know, I tried that, it just didn't flow, but it kind of maybe made more sense to end my thread, anchor the thread to the right. I'm not sure. So okay, so I'm going to just finish this stitch here and end the thread. Oh dear, this one. Sometimes it clashes with part threads, so it's a little bit messier. Here we go. A few more stitches. And the block, this box would be completed. So I'm going to pocket down here. So I think comparing to 4 stitches, it is kind of double the speed, because I'm going to show you the number of stitches I've completed. Or you probably can guess, because we're just talking about the blocks, and I've completed 2 blocks, so take a guess. How many stitches have I completed in this session, late night session? 2 more stitches. Very satisfying. Pocket down. Last one. Beautiful purple. And then I'm going to take it down here. There you go. Done. 2 blocks. So I started today by filling in, start with this block and move on to the block next to it. And I know the number of stitches, but just want to show you. Let me zoom it out a little bit so we don't go blind here. There you go. So over here, 197. Why is it 197? I think the first block probably only had maybe 3 stitches already filled in, so that's why. But I've completed. Whoops. Let me undo that. And so I completed these 2 blocks there. Not bad. Nice and clean. Nice and clean. Very happy with that. Very productive. Late night activity. Yeah. And I feel nice and relaxed. I feel like I can crawl into bed and relax. So that's my session today. And I'm still thinking about whether to do the 30-day marathon. Maybe I should start, I don't know. I'll think about that. It's quite ambitious. And I hate to break the streak if I were to do a 30-day streak of live stream. But I really enjoy it. I think it might be nice to do it every night if I can find the moment before bedtime. And really enjoyed it today. So thank you. If you're watching, and if you're watching playback, which is most of you, I hope you enjoy your stitching as well, if you're stitching at the same time. So I'll see you in the next session. Good night, everyone. Bye-bye.